$210,000 a year. 95 out of every 100 people who chase that number never touch it. Some quit in the first 18 months, some fall. That is what a substation master lineman clears in a good storm season, and the ladder up to him has 6 rungs, each one paid, and each one throwing people off for a reason nobody warns you about. Most people think a lineman is an electrician who works outside. That is wrong in a way that matters. An electrician works on dead wire inside a building at 120 volts. A lineman works on live wire in open air at 7,200 volts, and sometimes at 500,000. The trade is not electrical work performed outdoors. It is high voltage work performed at height, in weather, on a schedule set by other people's outages. That single difference explains the pay, the washout rate, and every rung above you. Let's start at the bottom. The groundman starts at $18 an hour, about $37,400 a year before overtime. In a union local, it runs closer to $22. You never touch a pole. You never touch a wire. You dig. You dig holes for poles. You dig trenches for underground runs. You dig out the truck when it sinks into soft ground. You flag traffic in the rain for 6 hours. You hand tools up on a rope, and you learn what every tool is called by the 4th time somebody yells at you for sending the wrong one. Getting in needs a high school diploma, a clean driving record, and a body that can lift 80 pounds repeatedly. That is genuinely all. About 1 in 3 groundmen quit within the first year, and almost none of them quit because of the electricity. They quit because of the cold, the mud, and the fact that nobody explains anything to them for the first 6 months. The thing nobody tells you is that the groundman year is a filter, not a job. Foremen are watching who shows up at 5 in the morning without being told twice, because that is who they recommend for an apprenticeship slot. Get recommended, and the ladder actually opens. The apprentice lineman starts at $26 an hour and steps up every 6 months, ending around $41. First year runs about $54,900. 4th year runs about $85,300. Now you climb. You put on hooks, and you go up a 40-foot wooden pole with nothing but a belt between you and the ground. And the first time you do it, your legs shake so hard the pole vibrates. Everyone's do. You learn to set cross arms, pull conductor, frame a pole, and work a bucket. You learn rubber gloving, which means putting your gloved hands on energized wire on purpose. Getting in means an apprenticeship through a union local or a utility, usually 4 years and 7,000 hours of documented field time, plus classroom nights. Cost to you is near zero, because you are paid the whole way, which is why applications outnumber slots 8 to 1. Roughly 30% of apprentices do not finish. Half of those wash out at climbing school in the first 3 months. The rest lose it on the classroom side, because the trade math is real trigonometry and load calculation, not arithmetic. The thing nobody tells you is that your class rank at the end determines which crew you get assigned to, and crew assignment determines your overtime access for the next decade. Finish top of your class, and you are already earning more than your classmates before you top out. The journeyman lineman earns $46 to $58 an hour, roughly $96,000 to $121,000 a year on straight time. With normal overtime, most journeymen land near $135,000. You are now the person who does the work, rather than the person handing tools to the person doing the work. You work energized primary. You make splices 200 feet up in a bucket. You restore power at 2 in the morning in freezing rain because a tree took out a feeder and 11,000 houses are dark. You are trusted alone, which is the actual promotion. Getting here requires completing the apprenticeship and passing the journeyman exam, both written and practical. Attrition at this stage is low, around 5%, but it is a different kind of attrition. People do not wash out, they leave, usually for their back or their marriage. The schedule is the cost of the wage. The thing nobody tells you is that the base wage is almost never what a journeyman actually makes. Storm work, double time on Sundays, and travel per diem routinely add 40% on top. 2 linemen with identical scale can be $60,000 apart at year-end, purely on how much they are willing to be away from home. The storm chaser is a journeyman who goes where the damage is. Pay runs $75 to $110 an hour on storm rates, and a 6-week hurricane deployment can pay $55,000 by itself. Annual totals of $180,000 are common in an active season. You get a phone call at midnight and you are on the road to Louisiana by 4 in the morning. You work 16-hour shifts, 16 on and 8 off, for 21 days straight. You sleep in a hotel with 9 other crews, or you sleep in the truck. You rebuild entire distribution systems that no longer exist. Getting in requires a journeyman ticket, a clean commercial driver's license, and a willingness to be gone for a month with no notice. There is no formal washout rate, because nobody fails, they simply stop volunteering. Most linemen do this hard for 4 or 5 years and then stop, and the reason is always family rather than the work. The thing nobody tells you is that storm pay is where the entire career's wealth actually gets built. Linemen who chase storms in their 20s and early 30s usually own their house outright by 40. The ones who never leave home earn a good living and nothing more. The crew foreman earns $62 to $78 an hour, about $129,000 to $162,000 a year, and considerably more with storm exposure. You stop climbing every day, and you start running the job. You get the work package the night before, you plan the switching, you brief the crew at the tailboard, and you are personally responsible for whether 4 people go home at the end of it. You still get in the bucket when it is tight, but your real job is deciding the order of operations and refusing work that is not safe to do yet. Getting here needs 6 to 10 years as a journeyman, a proven safety record, and a foreman certification through your utility or local. There is no washout rate because it is a selection rather than a course. The washout happens after, and it looks like a foreman asking to be put back on the tools. About 1 in 5 do. The thing nobody tells you is that the promotion changes what keeps you awake. Journeymen worry about the wire. Foremen worry about the 22-year-old apprentice who is a little too confident in the bucket. The substation master lineman earns $80 to $105 an hour, $166,000 to $210,000 a year, including on-call and overtime. Transmission specialists at the top of this band go higher. You work substations and transmission, which is a different animal from distribution. Distribution is 7,200 volts, and it will kill you. Transmission is 138,000 to 500,000 volts, and it will kill you, from several feet away without contact. You work in a bucket suspended from a helicopter, or you bare-hand energize transmission from a conductive suit while a helicopter holds you steady at 345,000 volts. You are also the person a utility calls when a substation is down and the region is at risk. Getting here means 15 years plus, transmission and substation certification, and a reputation that specific people vouch for by name. Fewer than 5% of everyone who ever started as a groundman reaches this rung. The thing nobody tells you is that the bare-hand crews are small, closed, and effectively hand-picked. You do not apply. Somebody who already has the job puts your name forward. There is a rung outside this ladder that pays more and looks nothing like it. Utility line contractors who start their own outfits bid storm restoration and new construction directly. A small contractor with 6 crews clears $300,000 to $600,000 in an active year. The trade knowledge is the entry ticket, but the actual work is bidding, bonding, insurance, and payroll, and it is far more likely to fail than the climbing ever was. Roughly half of these outfits close within 5 years, usually on cash flow rather than incompetence. They win a large storm contract, front 8 weeks of labor and fuel, and the utility pays in 90 days. Groundman, $37,400. Apprentice, $54,900, rising to $85,300. Journeyman, $121,000. Storm chaser, $180,000 in an active season. Crew foreman, $162,000. Substation master, $210,000. 30% of apprentices never finish. Fewer than 5% of everyone who starts ever reaches the top rung. The ladder is real, it is paid the entire way up, and almost nobody falls off it for the reason you would expect. Next, every level of an air traffic controller.